Hello and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. I hope your Thanksgiving was good because mine was life-altering. This show is all about the events that occurred today and years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things I personally find intriguing enough for me to bring to you. The source of this information comes from the smart device application Today in History on this day. For links to the app, music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the box below. Anyway, on with the show! Today is Moon's Day, aka Monday, November 29th, 2021. In 561, the Frankish kingdom was divided between Charibert I, Guthrum, Sigebert I, and Chilperic I when their father, King Clothar I, died at Compiègne. This fourfold division, the second of its kind in the history of these lands, saw conflict soon after when Chilperic's wife, Galswinthia, was murdered. Moving forward around 800 years, in 1394, the capital of Korea, today known as Seoul, South Korea, was moved by the founder of the Joseon dynasty, King Yi Seong-gi, from Kaesong to Hanyang. Jumping forward about 500 years, in 1729, 138 Frenchmen, 35 French women, and 56 children were massacred by Natchez Native Americans at Fort Rosalie, close to modern-day Natchez, Mississippi. Few years after that, in 1732, 1,940 people in the former southern Italian kingdom of Naples perished when the 6.6 magnitude Irpinia earthquake struck. In 1777, becoming the first civilian settlement, or pueblo, in Alta California, Pueblo San Jose de Guadalupe, known today as San Jose, California, was founded by Jose Joaquin Moragada. Skipping ahead about 30 years, in 1807, during the Peninsular War, advancing Napoleonic forces caused John VI of Portugal to flee Lisbon, taking with him the Portuguese court to Brazil. In 1830, in Poland, an armed rebellion against Russian rule began, later to be known as the November Uprising, or the Polish-Russian War, or the Cadet Revolution. 60 years after that, in 1890, establishing clear power limits of the executive branch and Emperor of Japan, as well as creating an independent judiciary, the Meiji Constitution went into effect. In 1929, the first expedition that flew over the South Pole finished, led by U.S. Admiral Richard E. Byrd. Not only was this the first successful flight over this region, but it was the first ever as well. Several decades later, in 1952, fulfilling a campaign promise during the Korean War, President-elect Dwight D. Eisenhower, seeking solutions to the conflict, traveled to Korea. 9 years later, in 1961, a chimpanzee named Enos was launched into space. Later to orbit the Earth twice, then splash down near Puerto Rico, the Mercury Atlas V mission began. 2 years after that, in 1963, having been recorded on October 17th of the same year, the Beatles released their song, I Wanna Hold Your Hand, in the United Kingdom. Also in 1963, the Warren Commission, tasked with investigating President John F. Kennedy's assassination, was established by U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson. And in 1972, becoming the first commercially successful video game, Pong was released by Atari. This simple tennis simulator sparked what is today a nearly $175 billion industry. Births: Christian Doppler, 1803, John Ambrose Fleming, 1849, Emma Marano, 1899, Joseph Shivers, 1920, Chuck Mangione, 1940, Steve Rogers, 1954, Brian Baumgartner, 1972, The Game, 1979, Dest, Philip IV, 1314, Charles IV, 1378, Slobodan Praljak, 2017. And that concludes the show. Once again, check the underbar for any links you may be interested in. For your dose of past events daily, I am Aozander, and you are you, Toodles!